Hi, I want to take a moment to talk about my love of reading. Here are my books, and I want to read you a passage of one of my favorite books, which is from Frankenstein. And this book was written in 1819, and a lot of people don't realize that Frankenstein is actually not the name of the monster. Frankenstein is the name of the scientist. And so the scientist who makes the monster casts him away, and Frankenstein is actually a really smart but ugly creation. And he wanders around the earth feeling lonely. And when he finally sees uh, his creator, this is what he says. He says, "Be calm. I entreat you to hear me before you give vent to your hatred on my devoted head. Have I not suffered enough that you seek to increase my misery? Life, although it may only be an accumulation of anguish, is dear to me, and I will defend it. Remember, thou hast made me more powerful than thyself. My height is superior to thine, my joints more supple. But I will not be tempted to set myself in opposition to thee. I am thy creature, and I will be even mild and docile to my natural lord and king if thou wilt also perform thy part, the which thou owest me. O Frankenstein, be not equitable to every other, and trample upon me alone, to whom thy justice and even thy clemency and affection is most due. Remember that I am thy creature. I ought to be thy Adam, but I am rather the fallen angel, whom thou drivest from joy for no misdeed. Everywhere I see bliss, from which I alone am irrevocably excluded. I was benevolent and good. Misery made me a fiend. Make me happy, and I shall again be virtuous." So I think this is beautiful because it is actually a story about what it's like to be an outcast, and what it's like to be treated like a monster, even though you yourself feel good. And when we read books like this, it helps us to empathize and understand what it's like to be an outcast. And I have always loved it. If you haven't read this before, I would say take a read. And another book that really has inspired me is this book, Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. Um, and I just want to read a quick passage in here. This is actually a short poem that starts the chapter, and it says, "In order to rise from its own ashes, a phoenix first must burn." And this is in this book. There's actually a big revolution that happens. The old world is kind of destroyed through social unrest, so that there can be a new world. So the idea of the phoenix is a really beautiful metaphor for that. And Octavia Butler has taught me a lot about how societies work and also our potential to make change. So there's many reasons why I love to read and what reading has given to me. And I'm sure that you have a favorite book to share. So we're going to have time for that.